Good evening, everyone. So I believe that Old Fashioned Week is over, but I've got one more variation on an Old Fashioned that I'm going to do tonight. And when we did our Old Fashioned the other night, Keely had mentioned a drink called the Whip from the Whip Bar and Grill, which is at the Green Mountain Inn in Stowe. And the Whip is their signature drink. And it's really just a variation on an old fashioned. It's they take an orange, they muddle it in the glass with some maple syrup to give it that Vermont flavor, and then it's basically sort of a more modern old fashioned. It's bourbon and a little bit of club soda. What I've done is I've kind of modified it a little bit to my own taste with some smokiness. So I've got this smoked maple syrup, which is made here in Vermont, Sugar Bob's finest kind smoked maple syrup. It's just dark maple syrup that's been smoked, and it has a great smoky flavor, or the aroma is very smoky, but it tastes more or less like maple syrup. And then we've also got this bourbon smoked sugar from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm going to rim the glass with the sugar. And then the bourbon that I'm using is also from Kentucky, Eagle Rare, one of my favorite bourbons. And with any sort of variation on an old fashioned, you want a bourbon that you enjoy drinking more or less straight, because it's bourbon and not much else. And then to keep it in the style of an old fashioned, I'm also going to add some bitters. In this one, I'm going to use Fee Brothers cherry bitters to give it a little bit of cherry flavor as well. So I'm going to start by preparing the glasses here. So I'm just going to rim the glasses in our bourbon smoked sugar. And this drink, I never really gave this drink a name. I mean, it's really the Whip from the Green Mountain Inn, the Whip Bar and Grill. And maybe it's a smoked whip or smoky whip or
the Lashwhip.
The Lashwhip. Oh, like Harry and the Lashwhips. So we're gonna put our orange slice in the glass. It's a little big for the glass. And then we're gonna just pour in a little bit of maple syrup, the smoked maple syrup. And in that will go just sort of enough to cover up or kind of soak the orange slice. And then we're going to throw in a couple dashes of the cherry bitters in each one. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't want to overpower it. The cherry bitters are kind of strong. Then we're going to muddle with our muddler. So we get to build this drink right in the glass. There's no shaker involved. You have to have the right facial expressions when you muddle.
And what would those be?
There, we're muddled. And we need some bourbon, so we're going with our Eagle Rare.
Wait, practice your hands. There you go,
yeah,
practice.
Do the official. Yeah. I'm going to do 2 ounces each.
Ah, there you go.
We do.
Kev's got to do a fancy bartending thing.
I'm not a professional.
So we have to...
I'm a home bartender. I just like to
We have
drink.
to jazz up his hands.
Jazz hands. All right, so then we're gonna put a little ice in here. And I'm not gonna use the big cubes. I'm just gonna use regular cube ice. Then we're gonna give it a little stir just to chill it down a bit and to get the orange and the maple syrup and the bourbon kind of incorporated. And we're just going to top it up with a little bit of club soda. Just a couple ounces each. And we're going to garnish with our homemade bourbon cherries. Oops. Uh-oh, it's sunk.
It all works.
There we go.
We're all
The
friends.
cherry's too fat.
A pandemic cherry.
Yes, it's spent too much time in its own jar. So there we have the Lashwhip.
Yeah.
The Lashwhip. There,
Why
we
not?
named it on the fly. There we go. Cheers to the Whip Barn Grill and the Smoky Whip, the Lashwhip.
Good?
That is a good drink.
Always good.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Cheers.